So study time is something that you really need to be careful with because you're going to be spending a lot of time. There's a lot of content to read. So for example, when you go to a project, you're going to have links to content that talks about a specific topic. And those could be, there could be a lot of information there. They could be short. There could be a lot of info there. And then you're going to have a step-by-step lab activity that you're going to go through that can be very it can take some time. It's like following instructions, being told, asked to do certain things, and then you have to be able to do them. So you might have to go back and look up material because you're certainly probably not going to remember everything. So it takes a long time to go through it. So waiting till the last minute, it will not work in your favor. It will be very confusing and very difficult. And one of the things that's interesting to consider is that our Parkland catalog talks about for every credit hour earned in a course, we expect the student, the beginner student, to spend up to 3 hours per week on the coursework. So, for example, a 3 credit hour course, you could expect to spend up to 9 hours a week doing the work for it. So if you keep that in mind and you've had more, 3 or 4 or 5 classes, and if you're having to spend that kind of time on things to learn it well, then you have to really budget your time for that. So make sure that you are doing that and preparing for that work. In addition, obviously, you might have a part-time job. Maybe you have a young family. Maybe you have a family. Maybe whatever your life situations are, you really got to budget your time wisely. Another thing to consider is equipment failures. You can't ever plan at the last minute. It seems like the last minute is the worst time. That's when you hit all the red lights. That's when you get a flat tire. That's when you get your refrigerator breaks down. When you're down to your last dollar in your account. That's when things go wrong, it feels like. So when you're setting up to work on a project, if it's the last minute, that's when your computer's going to go out. That's when you're going to lose power. That's when you can't find your, whatever it is. That's when the construction site down the street cuts the power lines or the cable or whatever it could possibly imagine, or your children get sick. And so I would recommend giving yourself plenty of time, a little bit all along. Work on it a little bit every day if you can, or work more up front. Begin Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to get as much as you can. Then you've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and Monday to get things done. And anyway, so I can't stress that enough. So make sure you are planning for it, because the deadline's the deadline. When it's due, it's due. You've had a whole week to work it out, and you working it out is what you have to do. That is part of part of life. If you do have something, for instance, maybe you do get sick. People get sick with a real serious illness, something that may put you in bed for a week or 2 or 3 or a month, or who knows what might happen. That's certainly something to discuss with me, and I can work with you in your progress. And so if you are going to be, or you end up being sick for extended amounts of time, let's talk about it and work out a plan to help you stay successful and get the work done if it's possible. Or maybe we have to, put things off for a semester or so. But whatever that is, that's a decision you'd have to make. But certainly communicate the issues. Every project that you do work on, I will give you feedback. I will give you feedback in your Cobra account. When you upload the project, I will read it, look at it, test it, validate it, verify that you follow the steps properly, and then I'll give you feedback of things that I see that need to be adjusted. So you'll read that feedback, and then you can make changes. You can actually go back, and I expect everyone to rework their project. As a matter of fact, if you don't rework your project, then you're going to lose points on the second project because it's going to be related to the first project. So you'll need to rework and continue to rework to increase your grade. You rework your project, resubmit it, I'll look at it, and you can add some more points to that grade that you currently got. Each week there are quizzes that cover the content. And so each week on the schedule, you'll see that you have project 1 and then you have a quiz over project 1. You have project 2 assigned and a quiz over project 2 that corresponds with the actual project. So quiz 2 will cover the content of that, quiz 3 on and on and on and on. And we also have, they're considered an exam, but it's not a written exam. It is a performance exam, meaning that you have to build a website that utilizes all these things that you are learning. And so your final exam is actually a complete website that you have designed. I'll show you an example of one. Here's an example of a student-built website that takes into consideration the content that I present. They have it's based on a donut shop, coffee shop. Look at another one. Here's another design. People coming up with I give you the content and the backstory and the elements that you'll go into it, but then you contribute to that with your own ideas. But you have to come up with the design for it. You have to code the page. You have to add the content where it's supposed to go. And it's something that is really fun, but something that takes a lot of work to organize and get together. So putting in these galleries and this sort of stuff is something that you'll be doing on your own and learning how to do this sort of thing. And so that is your what I call a final project. And what I like about it is that we begin the final project in the middle. So you begin with the midterm where you actually come up with a concept, come up with the things that you want to do based on the criteria that I provide. And then you come up with two design ideas that you present. We choose one that's going to work the best, and then you, from this point on to the end of the semester, you work on that to come up with the final product. And that is what I call the midterm and the final. It's not a written exam, it's more like an application or performance exam where you prove and show that you have applied these ideas in a realistic manner. So you will be using what's called Cobra, and Cobra is our content management system, and it is going to be how we organize and keep things basically in order. You'll be following the class schedule, and then you will be learning about Cobra here. I have a video about it where you can email me and you can upload your content, and you will see your grade and all that as we go along. So there's additional information I want to cover real quickly, and that has to do with withdrawals. Make sure that you are participating. If you don't have any activity on for this course, I will withdraw you. If for the first week you don't make any effort to log in, you don't do any work, you can be withdrawn by midterm if you haven't had any. If you've stopped participation, you're not taking the quizzes, you're not responding to anything, you're not turning things in, I will withdraw you. But it's better to withdraw yourself, so I know that, okay, this person literally wants to be out of the class. Make sure that the work you do is your own work, that you're not copying and plagiarizing other people's work. So I want to make sure that you are honestly creating this content, and it is pretty easy to know when people are copying code. You can learn more about our computer science and information technology program if you want to look at other things that we offer by looking at this website. Parkland offers career planning classes and life planning classes called Psychology 109, which is a course that has become a required course for entering school or entering students, and it allows you to take advantage of things like study skills and library and goal setting, those kind of things. I've already mentioned you'll be using the student email address, and that'll be how I'll communicate with you, and that's through Cobra, and that's how I will communicate with you. I already covered the withdrawal materials. Make sure that you are taking care of that. Disability services. If you do have a disability or you need assistance with something, contact Kathy Robinson, and she can help you with assistance. Any assistance that you might need, you can discuss with her. Parkland has some really nice services called the Center for Academic Success, where you can actually go in and get tutoring in different classes. Maybe this is a one class, it happens to be online, but you have other classes here on campus. You can go there and you can get help in lots of different ways. The TRIO program is also a nice service. It's a place where first-time students who are moving to a four-year university can get financial assistance. We also have a Parkland alert system that allows you to get notified if there's an emergency of some sort in our area, maybe weather related, maybe fires, maybe something else that might be of importance that we may need to evacuate the building or take shelter. You can be notified through text, through email, through phone calls, and you can sign up for that here, and it's quite a great service. Parkland has technology assistance services that you can get help with. If you're having trouble with Cobra, if you're having trouble with other things, you can go there and get assistance for that. And if you need to see assistance for our computer labs, you can see the lab times. If you go to that link, computer labs, we'll be working on, we have a CSIT. If you're in our digital media program and you need to use a lab, you'd be using D208. And those labs are open on Monday through Fridays, 7 to 9:30, Saturdays, 7 a.m. to 3:30, and it's closed on Sundays. So make sure you understand and take care of those kinds of things. All right, so overall, that covers the basic elements of the class. If you look at the schedule, we'll begin by, you have a lot of videos here on the right-hand side that cover topics. I give demos and examples of the kinds of things you'll be doing. What you'll be doing is clicking on a link here, and it'll pull up the content for project. Everything you need to know for project 1 will be in these links here, and then you will then actually have a lab activity that will utilize the information you learned up here. And so you will go through and it will walk you through the steps. Same for all of these as you go. Now, I try to have videos on the side here that might be specific for certain things that you might need help with, common areas. Otherwise, you may be able to just get by with it without any extra help. Now, that is the basics. So you'll follow this schedule. Things are due on the date that they're due by midnight, or actually it's like 11:30 that night. So do be aware of that. If you miss the deadline, then you are going to lose credit for that project and that quiz if you don't take it. The quizzes are all online, and you can take them from anywhere. And all this content, you'll be able to upload your project with Cobra, and it walks you through the project. It walks you through the process here and uploading files and all that sort of stuff. So you'll go through all this content step by step, and I'll lay it all out for you. As we go along, you can see all the dates, you can see all the different kinds of content that we'll be looking at, and you can peruse through all these things and look at it as you go along. We'll be working with HTML5 and CSS3, and we'll be learning about that material. So as we go along, I'm going to be adding some additional content here about Bootstrap and GitHub, and I always try to update different things as we go, as technology changes, and I want to add new features. And so this schedule that you might be seeing here might not look exactly like the one that you see on your when you connect to the link through the home page. But that's the basics of it. So if you have any questions, please give me an email, and I look forward to working with you in class.